Okay, we are going to get right into a down and dirty review of the Bell MX-9 helmet. I'm not going to go over features and benefits. This is just my experience over the last 4 years of having it. I'm about to retire it today, and so we'll talk a little bit about what I loved about it and why I'm switching. Okay, so as you can see, this helmet's had quite a bit of use to it. There's a ding or two here and there, and that's my first thing I want to call out is just the what I'm using this for. This was a dirt biking helmet slash dual sport ADV helmet. I was almost always covered in some sort of dirt until I just recently cleaned it off. And so I wasn't expecting the finish to last anyway, but I will say that it did get quite scratched over the time. A lot of these scratches were pretty easy. They happened in, sitting on the side of the bike or being in the top box while I was riding with maybe a different helmet on or something like the such. And so it happens. Overall, the helmet's held up great. I don't have any, there's no actual breakage of anything on the helmet. Not a single knob or lever has snapped. I really did like the helmet's fit for the years that I had it. It still fits great today. There's not a single ergonomic reason why I wouldn't keep wearing this helmet. What I really liked about it was the safety of the MIPS system. Was very happy to have that extra security, knowing that if my head twisted in the helmet, that it has a design that allows that twisting to not translate into having a concussion, and so, or neck injury as well. One thing I didn't love about this helmet was the shield. This is the second shield I've put on here. They do last a very long time. There is no inner shield, so fogging and things like that is kind of mitigated by putting a spray on, but it's never 100%. I spent a lot of time riding like this, as I've learned to ride with many ADV helmets with a little bit of a gap there, and I found that this helmet with a little bit of an oblong shape to it really is kind of creates some different glares in certain heights, and it doesn't like to sit just up, so it would like to automatically close down. So that's one thing I didn't love about the helmet. I wish that this was a little bit easier to see through based on its shape, even when it was slightly up, although I haven't found a helmet that does that great. This helmet was initially, I got it with a comm system on there. It was a Cardo Bold, which I've recently ripped off because the Cardo had worn out. The batteries were toast after 4 or 5 years of use, which is acceptable. I won't say anything bad about the system, and I love it. But had that mounted in here. It was easy to put in, easy to take out, didn't require any modification. I have taken the pads out many times to wash them. It's nice that you can do that. Things that you wouldn't know from just seeing the helmet. This is a size large. The helmet itself is quite wide in every direction. And I'll compare this to my next helmet in a minute. But essentially that equated to a lot of road noise and a lot of wind resistance. You would get caught. So as far as having a strong neck, I definitely recommend that if you're riding all day. It's a light helmet, but it does get carried in the wind at higher speeds, so it's not great for riding on the highway for long stints. It's okay. I never took the visor off, or I never tried anything else in the lifetime of it. I just dealt with it. But you could always take this off if you're riding 1,000 miles on road and you wanted to get a little bit less resistance. But overall, it's a pretty big, easy to catch in the wind helmet, allowing in creating quite a lot of of noise. So I'm going to go ahead and one thing that I did that I always think is important is to see the helmet with goggles on it. And as you can see, this being an ADV style helmet, goggles fit very well, straps fit very well, even with the visor in place. We have to remove it. So that sits through there, and that way you can wear just goggles in high humidity situations and areas where that added airflow is nice, but so is the protection of the goggles. This is where I mounted a GoPro. This is a great mounting point on this helmet. Provided a little bit of view and context of the rider's head, so you know where you're at, and then you're able to look down because you're normally sitting at an angle like that. So that's this setup. Now let's compare it. My new helmet is going to be an Arai XD4, another very common in the ADV world helmet. I held out for many years because of this one, but I wanted to compare them just overall, and I'm not sure how well you can tell, but just in size, the frame of the bell is quite large. It looks like you could put an XL or 2XL pads in there, whereas this one seems to be a lot closer to the shape and size of my head. I've noticed that as soon as I put it on, that overall it just felt a little bit less clunky. There's really great ventilation in this guy. I'm not going to go so much into this helmet as much as the big differences were road noise when riding with this one is much quieter. That's what you're to be expected for a helmet that costs 3 or 4 times as much. But a much quieter ride without wearing ear protection. Overall fit and finish, obviously a little bit nicer. Nice plastics, nice polys. Still same issue with kind of an odd shaped nose, but I've noticed that I can just open it a little bit. And you really shouldn't need to do this if you've got good ventilation, but I live in Florida. It's high humidity, so I almost always have flow, even if I want the protection of the windscreen. So you'll see me doing that a lot. But yeah, overall, loved this helmet. I'm happy that I got this one. I'm sure after riding with this one for a couple months, outside of being on highways, I'm sure I'm going to say that it's very similar to my experience with this one, which is that it was just an overall great helmet that I never had to worry about. It always did its job. Hope this helps you in your decision. If you're looking to purchase a Bell MX-9 or an Arai XD4, I recommend them both. 2 different pricing categories. Probably exactly what you would expect and what you get for the extra money. But so far, great with both of them, and good luck to you. Thank you for watching.